James and Edward are both engines of the exact same size. They both have buffers at the front and tenders at the back, and they can both pull cars as well as passenger coaches. And at the end of a busy day, they always like to talk about their day's adventures. One morning, James and Edward were in the yards filling up their tenders with coal.
"Nearly done, Edward," James said. "I hope there's enough coal left for me," Edward said. "We have a lot of heavy cars to pick up from the quarry." "Don't worry, Edward," James said. "There will be."
James and Edward soon picked up their heavy train from the quarry and were on their way to the docks. James and Edward puffed along the line, pulling their heavy load. Then, sparks began to shoot out of James's funnel. James! James! There's sparks shooting from your funnel! And from yours, Edward.
I wonder what's wrong.
Just then, Hank rolled past pulling a train of coal.
Oh dear, looks like you boys got some of that nasty coal that arrived today.
Bad coal?
Lucky for y'all, I've been sent to get some fresh coal to replace it.
Hank is right, James. Maybe we should wait until the new clean coal is ready. No, Edward, we could still run on this coal. We still have steam. We have to keep on puffing, Edward, James said, but Edward was too worried. He wanted to wait for the new coal to arrive. James, I don't think I can carry on with you. It's best if I go wait at Tidmouth's sheds for the new coal to arrive, he said sadly.
And with that, Edward was uncoupled from the train and he puffed back to Tidmouth's sheds.
James was worried about Edward.
I sure do hope Edward will be alright. I might as well go ahead and get this train to the docks, even if I have to pull it on my own. My work depends on it.
James tried to pull the train on his own, but without Edward pushing from the back, he couldn't pull it at all. There's too many cars for me to pull on my own. I hope someone can help me so I can get to the docks on time or I'll be late. Just then, James heard a horn in the distance. BoCo and Derek happened to be coming by. BoCo, Derek, I need your help. My train is too heavy and I don't have a back engine to help me get this to the docks on time. Can you guys help me, please?
Oh my, James. Of course we will. Don't worry.
BoCo and Derek were soon coupled up to James and they set off to Brendam Docks. At last, they soon arrived at Brendam Docks just in time. Thank you so much, BoCo and Derek. I knew I could count on you guys. Of course, buddy. We're glad you asked us to help, said Derek.
Well, James, we have a bit of 18 minutes left before we have to head back to the clay works. So we'll be on our way. Take care.
Then I arrived and came to see James.
Hello, James. I've been expecting you. I need you and Edward to go to the smelter's yard to pick up some iron and steel girders to bring back here to Brendam Docks. Remember, the ship leaves at 5 o'clock in the evening.
James was nervous. He realized he had quite the challenge, but he couldn't say no to me. With BoCo and Derek having to get back to work at the clay pits, and everyone else was busy with their work, there was no other choice left. He needed Edward's help. I'll do the best I can, he said.
Good man. Off you go.
But just as James was about to leave, Percy pulled into the docks. Hi, James. How's everything going? He asked. Sorry, Percy. I don't have time to talk right now. I have to go get Edward so we can do our next job. Percy was very concerned as he watched James puff away with sparks shooting out of his funnel again.
James, why are you shooting sparks from your funnel?
James was puffing through the countryside as fast as he could to get to Tidmouth's sheds. While James puffed along the way to Tidmouth's sheds, he passed Murdoch, who was picking up passengers at Lower Tidmouth Station.
"James, why on earth are there sparks shooting out of your funnel?"
Sorry, Murdoch. I think I must have had some bad coal.
"Well then, perhaps you should probably go and get your firebox cleaned out."
James soon arrived at Tidmouth's sheds, where he found a very tired Edward cooped up in the shed.
Come on, Edward, said James. It's time to come out of the sheds. We have to go to the smelter's yard to pick up some iron and steel girders to deliver to Brendam Docks. The ship leaves at 5 o'clock in the evening. We don't have much time." Edward was still worried about the bad coal, and he still wanted to wait for the good, fresh, clean coal to arrive. "Can't you send someone else?" he asked.
Edward, there is no one else, said James. We're the only engines available. Come on, we can do this.
Edward knew that the job was not going to be easy, but then he remembered how James told him to keep on puffing. "You're right, James," Edward said. "I did want to wait for the new clean coal to arrive, but if you can keep on puffing, James, I will too." So James and Edward set off to the smelter's yard. Soon James and Edward collected their flatbeds of iron and steel girders and were hurrying to the docks as fast as their wheels could carry them. "These flatbeds are heavy, James," panted Edward. "Keep puffing, Edward. We have to get to the docks before the ship leaves," James said. Just then, Edward's wheels started to slip, screech, and squeak. "James, I don't think I can do this," Edward said. "Maybe we should go and see if the new coal has arrived." "No, Edward. We don't have time for that. The ship leaves at 5 o'clock in the evening." But when Edward and James puffed up Gordon's Hill, there was trouble. "James, why did you stop?" asked Edward. "My boiler's broken, Edward. I've blown a gasket." "But if you've broken down and I can't push you up the hill with these heavy flatbeds of iron and steel, then that means we're both stuck." "I'm sorry, Edward. You were right. We should have waited for the new coal to arrive. But now I feel like I'm the silliest." "You know what, James?" said Edward. "You've taught me how to keep on puffing, so that is what I'm going to do." Edward puffed as hard as he could, and slowly they started to move up the hill. Edward was pushing all the flatbeds, and James too. "Well done, Edward," James shouted. "Keep on puffing." Edward puffed, chuffed, and strained. His wheels were wobbling and his axles ached, but he kept on puffing.
Emily was puffing down the hill with a passenger train.
"You can do it, Edward! Go on!"
Emily shouted. Edward felt proud. He had more motivation than he knew what to do with.
The dock workers cheered for Edward when they saw him shunting James and the flatbeds into the docks with one final puff. "We made it," said James.
"Well done, James and Edward. You have made it right on time."
"Actually, Gabriel, Edward did the pushing, because I blew a gasket on Gordon's Hill. I didn't know if we could make it, but using the remaining strength he had, Edward helped me all the way. 'Cause he's a hero in my book." Soon James and Edward were arranged to be taken to the works. Neville arrived to take Edward to the works to go get his firebox cleaned out, and Arthur arrived to take James to the works so that he could have his boiler fixed. The next day, Edward and James puffed out of the steamworks with some fresh new coal. "You were quite right, Edward," said James. "Waiting for fresh new coal does sure give you good luck." "Indeed it sure does, James. And thanks for owning up for your antics yesterday." "Oh, no problem, Edward. You may be the oldest and wisest engine on Sodor, but you're my best friend too." And the two engines laughed as they puffed away together.